quite a big termite mound. Okay, well, we'll look around and see. Maybe we get lucky. Either way, I suppose we can't complain too much. We've been absolutely spoilt this morning with incredible sightings. Now, here's some Franklins here. Also squirrels. You hear that, Vim? So squirrels and Franklin. Should we go and investigate? I think we should go and investigate this. Let's just go and have a little look. It's inside here, so it's directly north of where I am, in a horrible, horrible area. Now, I believe... Good, right. Now, I'm going to send you across to Ali because I believe Djuma has just popped out as well. So I'm going to try and see if I can catch up with Djuma as well, and we'll send you across to Ali.
Well, it seems like leopards and cats are just everywhere. How exciting. Now, yeah, I've heard from Chitwa that Tingana is actually on vessels, which is another property far away from where all of the action is happening. So Tingana is definitely not in this picture at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if Djuma is there, or perhaps even one of the younger boys, perhaps something Hosanna or Tamba, which is quite interesting. Well, every time that we think that, this road is not the greatest, every time we think something's happened, something else pops out of nowhere. So it's almost to keep us all on our toes. Now, I'm not too sure. I think Tex has managed to catch up to Djuma, or he's had a view, or he's not too sure. So I think we're going to carry on making our way just in case there's another leopard in there. You never know. Obviously, they've all just decided that today was the day to be close by. Leave it to leopards to confuse everyone and have random new characters pop up in the most unexpected places. Now, I haven't seen any tracks for any leopards crossing onto Gowrie Main, which was a possibility, as it seems like some of the tracks were steadily coming south. So whatever or whomever and how many leopards are, they're still on Djuma. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with one. That'll be quite nice. I would love to see a leopard. Been dying to see a leopard for the last few days. So hopefully we'll get lucky. We'll see, just to be able also to tell what's been happening. Byron is waiting for his leopard to appear once more, so let's head over to him. Maybe he'll have some luck.
Well, there's been a slight change now. This male Hukumuri has moved further down the road. There is another leopard in here somewhere. Now we're trying to get a glimpse of him. There's definitely another leopard here, and I don't think Hukumuri actually saw this other male. He's hiding in here somewhere. Just can't get a glimpse of him. But there's another leopard, and they seem to be walking in the same direction. So let's have a careful look through here. Maybe we... hold on. I'm sure we're going to see him shortly. Not sure which leopard this is. Yeah, isn't there a leopard here? Sorry, I'm just trying to look. It's so thick. Let's just hold this position for a second or two. Try have a look and see if we can see this other male. Find out who it is. And I'm assuming it's a male.
Here he is.
Have you got him?
Got a glimpse, I've lost him again. Yeah.
There we go. You can just see some rosettes moving through the bush there. Can you see that? All spotted fur. Look at that. The elusive leopard moving through the brush. Now this is what most people get to see from time to time. If they see a leopard, they can be very, very elusive, and as I said, elusive. I'm using that word a lot. but they can disappear so easily in thick bush, and most people don't often get to see them. I know a lot of South Africans that go on safari regularly up in Kruger, all over, don't get to see leopards like we do. We're very, very fortunate in these areas. And the ability to drive off-road and follow the cats is a huge benefit. Where's our other male? He's still just walking down the road. I'll show you him shortly. But I wonder if he's noticed it. Is that not a view of that leopard? Through there he is. Straight through that gap, Ferg. You might be able to see him. A little bit to the right, I think. And he's moving through the back there. I can see Fergie's actually come through here now. He might go through that gap somewhere. You can hear the Franklin's alarm calling. Well, this is really, really interesting. Now, hold on, I'm just going to start quickly because I want to see where this other leopard is going. We can always come back here. Let's just have a look and see. I think he's gone up that way, Tax. He's going back, yeah, thank you. I see he's turned back now. This Hukumuri male has turned back and is facing the other side again. This area is a seapline. I don't think we're able to drive off here, but there he goes. He's heading back now, behind us. There he goes. Leopards are playing cat and mouse. It just shows you when they are moving, if they don't want to be seen, they can disappear very easily. But these leopards are really close to one another. I'm not sure how this is going to unfold. Is the one going to try and disappear without being seen? Is this one just going to continue through? Or is it actually going to go and challenge this male? Going to turn around quickly. See, we never really know. I mean, we can assume and I can tell you what I've witnessed in the past, but every situation is different. And the animals, it all depends on how they feel, what they think is necessary. Will they attack one another? Will they just, is this male still just feeling out which leopards are in the area? He's not sure. He doesn't want to just pounce in and attack a leopard that he doesn't really know. I have no sign of that other leopard anywhere yet at the moment. It's very thick down here, this drainage line. It might pop out. There's a little pan. Oh, well, it sounds like Tristan has joined us, and I think he's just on the other side. Maybe he's got a better view. Let's go and have a look quickly.
So, Byron, we've come to this side just because we've got these two leopards now changing directions, and so Hukumuri is moving straight towards where we are. So I'm just trying to reverse back for him to be able to walk the way that he wants to, but he doesn't really seem as though he knows actually which direction he wants to take. So we thought with the two males being around, it will help that both of us are here, and you can see him scent marking there, heavily nose to the ground. And I wonder who this other male leopard is, whether or not it's Djuma or who this is. Tax says to me it's another young male, so I'm not sure where it is and where Byron is in relation to where I am, but it seems as though both leopards are kind of just around and milling. And so when you've got thick bush like this, we thought we'd just kind of come give a hand, given that it's just Byron and Tax by themselves. And why not? At the end of the day, he's now moving straight towards the lions as well. So it's kind of a big mix of what's going on. The lions are maybe, I would say, 300 meters from where we are with Hukumuri at the moment. But we'll try and keep up with Hukumuri. If Byron keeps up with the other male, then we'll have a better idea of who's going where and what's actually happening. The problem is that this area is so thick and so dense at the moment that so I don't know if Byron wants to stay with Hukumuri or if he wants to stay with the other leopard. I'm not quite sure, But as long as both of us have them, then it should work quite well. We should be able to kind of follow and track them both down and see how this all plays out, because at the end, if we've got both leopards, that's going to be good news. I'd love to know who this other leopard is. Now, I thought Byron was still with the other leopard. I didn't realize he isn't with him at all. So Byron must be south of me, because it's very thick to my south, and Hukumuri is now going straight towards kind of Treehouse Dam area. So I wonder if both of them are going to head in that direction. But it seems as though the other male is almost trailing Hukumuri, which would tend to suggest that the other male is also looking for a bit of a fight. It's going to be interesting, though, either way. And we know that there was this skittish young male that was seen recently on Vessel's area that people don't really know who it is. It was confused for Nkuhuma, but it wasn't him. So it's a situation where, you know, I don't know if it maybe that male is up in the side or what's going on, but it's interesting nonetheless. The dynamic just seems to never die down. Brittany, I mean, Hukumuri scent marking, I suppose it does indicate that Tingana has retreated somewhat, and Tingana definitely hasn't come into this area for quite some time. Whether or not that's just because he's kind of trying to get himself sorted again and trying to get himself into better shape, that he's able to then kind of, you know, come back and compete again, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I mean, Hukumuri's taking the chance to scent mark because Tingana's not here and is not scent marking and is in no way pushing back on what's going on. So it's an interesting kind of take on everything, and I wonder how this is all going to eventually play out. Now, I'm looking around the whole time because I'm trying to see where Byron is and where this other male could be, because I don't want Byron to lose out, and I'd rather Byron follow Hukumuri and we can spend time trying to find the skittish male of the two. I don't mind that. And so we just kind of came down the road and Hukumuri was in the road right in front of us. So that's why I thought Byron might be still with the other male, but we'll try and just see how this works. Otherwise, if Byron doesn't have any joy, I'd rather him come back to Hukumuri and I'll go and scratch around for that other male. At least then Byron has the leopard with him. Okay, cool. So Byron says he's happy to follow and try find the other one, and we must just stay with Hukumuri for now. All right, good, Byron. We shall try and do so. It would be nice to get both of them at the same time and actually see whether or not they're sort of trailing each other, or if there's a situation where they're just sort of kind of moving apart now. It would be good to know either way. Now, this area is not very friendly. I've followed Hukumuri through here twice before, and the rate that he walks makes it very difficult to actually keep up with him in this area. The good news, though, is that we are heading straight towards Treehouse Dam, and so it should start opening up fairly shortly. Careful there, Via. So it's just one more kind of thick patch that we go through. I'm just trying to see now which way he's going to take. The problem with Hukumuri is you never know with him. He just kind of changes direction every 5 minutes, and it's never a straight line that gets walked. It's not like Tingana or some of the other males that just sort of keep a certain... You see, now watch, he'll turn. No, he's not sure. He's still marking, though. I wonder who this other leopard is. It's interesting. I hope that Byron can find it again and get a good glimpse, or the other male catches up with us. What's also interesting is Hukumuri is full. He's eaten quite a bit, and as far as I know, he hasn't been on a kill the last day or so. So I wonder if he didn't get something last night and was able to kind of feed heavily off of it and get a really good amount of food. Now, I'm going to send you across to Byron, and hopefully he's got a view of this other male that's moving around.
Oh, I don't, Tristan, unfortunately not. Now, we've come into this open little section just to see if we can get a glimpse of this leopard moving through the brush behind me. He was heading in this direction, so I'm hoping he pops out somewhere. But it's very thick through there. So I'm not sure where he went. He could also have turned around just like Hukumuri did. Turned around and went in the opposite direction again. So now it's just a patience game. Now we just need to wait. Maybe we can hear some alarm calls from birds. Maybe an impala call. Just have a look around here and see if we can't get a glimpse of this leopard again. I think maybe the leopard the other one, would possibly try and go back and keep an eye on that Hukumuri. He doesn't want to be surprised. Leopards, they prefer keeping an eye on any danger, any potential threat. So maybe he also turned around and walked back just to keep an eye on that situation where that other leopard was. Don, you asked if leopards eat leaves and fruit sometimes. Fruit, nuts and mice? No, Don, I've never seen leopards eating fruit or anything. I've seen them biting grass. Now, the reason for that is possibly the same as domestic cats and dogs, help with digestion or clean the stomach, and I know I've seen them biting and chewing on some grass at times, but it's not necessarily part of their diet, I don't think. It's just something to help with digestion. I mean, they are strict carnivores, so they mainly eat meat. But I've never seen them feed on any fruit. Let's just go have a look back around this side again. And I think that other leopard is a bit nervous, so it'll be difficult to find it. But let's see. We've been lucky so far today. What a great start to the weekend. Wonderful Friday morning. 2 leopards, pride of lions, elephant everywhere, buffalo. Okay, it sounds like Tristan's still got a view of that other male leopard, Hukumuri. Let's go see where he's heading now.
Well, Byron, keeping a view of these leopards is not easy at all, because I can tell you that Hukumuri is also doing circles around here. He's not exactly walking in a straight line, and we're also struggling to keep up with him. He's heading towards Treehouse Dam, and there's alarm calls all around us on both sides of the kind of drainage sections that indicate that maybe there is another leopard that's also kind of fringing with us. But I don't know how Byron managed to keep up with all of these animals. It's not easy work trying to keep up with them. So I have a situation where hopefully they're both going to meet up at Treehouse Dam. That would be the ideal situation. And like I say, we'd be able to get a view of both of them. But you see what he does. He kind of scent marks, and then he walks in a different direction, and then he goes back that direction. It's very confusing as to know which way he actually wants to go. But there is a lot of scent mark happening, and he has scent marked this area extensively over the course of the last month, and so I would say that he's taken this for himself for now, and there's nobody else that's pushing him away now except for this intruder that seems to be here as well. It's pretty incredible to think that we haven't had a change in male leopards at all for so long, and now we've got 2 male leopards that are cruising around in Tingana's territory kind of fighting it out. So I wonder what the story is, and I wonder whether or not that other male is now given up, or what the situation is. Like I say, I just feel bad that Byron is not the one with the leopard, so I would rather him come here if he wanted to than me stay with Hukumuri. I was just trying to come and help them with that other male more than anything else, so I don't want to, like I say, take away from Byron, that's for sure. I think I've got half a tree attached to the car as well at this stage. It sounds like it. VM, do we have a big tree on your side? Why is Byron putting funny hand signs at you, Kirsty? Byron, what are you doing? Don't have funny hand signs. I'm hoping, like I say, that's at least... Oh, lovely. So he gave a thumbs up. That's okay. Now, hopefully, like I say, both these leopards will appear at the same place, and they'll both be around at Treehouse Dam. That would be ideal situation for us, is for them to both be out in the clear, because it'll definitely make life a lot easier for everybody involved. You can hear the squirrels are going crazy, more scent marking. Interesting behavior. Now he's rolling around in dung, which is typical of leopards. They do it a lot, but you can see what I mean about his belly being full. He definitely has eaten something in the last little bit, but like I say, nobody can tell me exactly what they've been eating. He's apparently was seen yesterday just moving around, so he must have killed something small last night and eaten all of it. I'm just going to reposition for VM to try and get VM a better shot than what he's got right now, because we've got a bush that's obscuring what's going on. Rosette, I don't know if Hukumuri doesn't know the area well enough. I mean, this is not the first time he's walked here. We've seen him here in this area, I think 5 or 6 times now, and so he'll know it fairly well. I think he's just one of those males that just kind of is still, I suppose, exploring to a degree, so he zigzags a little bit more than maybe when he'll be more dominant. I don't know, it's an interesting thing, but he's walked around this area a lot, but every time I followed him, it's the same thing, is that he'll go one way and then he cuts back the other way, and then he goes that way, and then he just kind of zigzags around. I also don't think he's 100% comfortable with the vehicles just yet. He's still kind of getting used to the fact, and because we keep getting him when he's, on territorial missions, that outweighs our presence. But the more we've got us moving around, the more relaxed he'll get, and eventually I think he'll get more kind of direct in the way that he walks. I think it's just more kind of him getting used to us and vehicles moving than it is actually a territory and him actually knowing his area better. But he's drifting off now, going up towards where the lions were sitting. So the lions are just on the other side of Treehouse Dam, on top of the crest at the moment. I was hoping that they would be, they would just stay sleeping, but with all this noise and alarm calls, I wouldn't be surprised the lions come and investigate, and, well, especially because there's water here as well. But no other leopard that's coming behind us. I can't even hear Byron where he is. I can't hear him off-roading or moving around at all. So I don't think Byron is actually that close to me at the moment, unless that leopard is still moving in our direction and Byron is just kind of skirting along the edges. But why don't we go across to him and find out exactly what he's doing. And if he hasn't found that male leopard, he's welcome to come back to Hukumuri and I'll carry on. In fact, no, we're going to send you to Ali instead for now, while Byron is busy off-roading trying to follow said leopard.
Well, I think seeing the two boys are too preoccupied with the male leopards, I'm gonna go and see if I can find the lions. Seems like they're in the close vicinity, but perhaps left unattended, so I'm sure it'll be a good thing to try and follow up and see what the lions think of all of this commotion. Now, I'm not too sure where the lions were left, because I've been trying to get a hold of people on the radio, but I know they were somewhere around Philemon's Scutline in that area, so we're not too far. We're going to go and head in that direction, and hopefully we'll be able to find the big cats. Now, the Styx Pride was also fine on Chitwa, but unfortunately we're having some problems with our signal over there, so fingers crossed Jared will be able to create some magic. They all seem to be doing well, in case everybody was wondering, but unfortunately we won't be able to head that way, at least not for the time being. So we are all trusting Jared's super tech skills to be able to solve this one for us. But in the meantime, I'm gonna head again, as I said, onto the last spot where I believe the lions were left, just to see what they've been getting up to. I'm sure there's been lots of crazy things, and little did we know that when we heard the impalas calling this morning, that there were going to be so many things in such close proximity to one another. Never know what's around the next corner, really, in the bush, and you go from absolutely nothing and just bumbling about to pretty much everything happening on the same corner of the property. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Now, I'm going to try and get on the radio, find out where these lions were left so that I can make my way there. Where did you guys leave the lions? The Nkuhumas, where did you leave them? Okay, copy. I'm gonna try and follow up. Right, so we are on our way, hopefully. Sorry, go again. Yes, but there's no signal at Chitwa. Right, seems like Byron is still also driving, trying to follow up on that male leopard. So while he does that, I'm going to try and follow up on the lions, and hopefully we'll see how all of this is going to fare. Hopefully in a good way.
Well, let's hope so. Now, I saw tracks of that other male leopard come out onto this road, but then he disappeared in through the thicket again. And I think he's trying to keep an eye on that other male, on Hukumuri. It's difficult at times to try to spot these animals when you're driving up and down. I suppose if it was easy, it would be a zoo. Flat Earth, the scent marking is actually urine. It's mainly just urine that the leopards spray, and that is to scent mark their territory. So it is urine. Just have a look. We'll check these drainage lines carefully here. I'm driving slowly. There's beautiful orange-breasted bushshrike calling while we're driving through here. I'm sure that other leopard is around here somewhere. Sorry, Fergs. Tristan's managed to stay with Hukumuri. So let's go back and we'll stay with that leopard and we'll see if we can find this other one.
Well, we are still with Hukumuri. He's come to where the buffalo was around last night at some point, and he's been rolling around in their dung and just kind of doing what leopards do when they find buffalo, sort of patties and where buffalo have slept. It's a weird thing how leopards love rolling around in buffalo dung. Sometimes even lick it a little bit. It's a strange phenomenon, but it's always like that with buffalo herds. I don't know why. Most male leopards that I've seen do it. In fact, even females as well. I've seen, a number of females do it as well. So he's kind of got his nose deep in a pile of buffalo poo, which is a little bit weird, but you'll see he kind of rolls his face on it, and it's normally, they say, to try and kind of mask his scent a little bit more. But in a situation like this where there's another leopard around and he's growling and carrying on, I would have thought that he would have been far more kind of interested in seeing off this leopard or causing, the leopard to move away and trying to kind of establish himself than he would be to roll around in buffalo dung. Unless he's just trying to make a marking everywhere and just rub himself all over the ground so that if this other leopard moves, it knows who he is. The problem that he's got is if he continues to move the way he is and walking the way he is, which he's going to do, he is going to walk right into the Nkuhuma Pride. We are now not even 150 meters away from where the Nkuhuma Pride are sleeping, and he's on a crash course straight for them at this stage. Unless he changes his direction and starts heading more sort of east, he's going to walk straight north into the lions, and he's going to have a big problem. So we'll just see how this goes. And if he does go up that way, he's going to get a rude awakening as to what goes on in this area, and that he's not the only cat that moves around. You can see he's got his nose down, busy sniffing, and I'm wondering if the other leopard is going to make another appearance, or if it's going to have a situation where it's going to move away. I'm not quite sure. But let's try and keep up with him, see what he's going to get up to. I wonder now. Hukumuri, you better have your eyes peeled, boy. Otherwise, you're going to have a tawny cat problem on your hands fairly shortly. And I wonder if the Nkuhumas will actually pick him up before he kind of sees them. It's going to be interesting as to whether or not he actually picks them up first or if they pick him up first. The way he's walking, he won't pick up their scent because they didn't come from this way. They came from north of where he is. So he's definitely not going to pick up their scent in this area. And he won't be able to smell them before he sees them, which is going to be an issue. Whereas, us following him, I suppose the lions theoretically might have perked up a little bit, but I don't want to kind of follow too close to him. I'd rather give him a little bit more space than anything else. It's a bit of a dodgy one, that's for sure. There's just so much happening all in the same place. So we've got, leopard, lions, another leopard. It's just absolute chaos, that's for sure. And it's been a crazy feline Friday so far. Chazelle, you're inquiring about if the leopard's a female. I don't know. I mean, Byron will be a better person to ask, given that he saw that leopard and also maybe saw its tracks. I'm not sure. like I say, Byron will be a better one to answer, but it could be a female. The thing is, though, he was growling earlier, apparently, and kind of salivating, and if it was a female, I would be very surprised if he did that. And also, Tax said to me he saw a young male, so I don't know. I mean, it's possible that it could be a female. You know, anything is possible in this sort of situation, and in the current leopard scenario. You can't script this stuff. It's ridiculous what's been going on and how we're just having all kinds of random things happening in this area. And like I say, Hukumuri better be very careful about what he's doing now, because he literally is going to walk straight into this pride over this little hill that we are on now, and he's going to be on top of them pretty shortly. So I think the lions are lying just beyond where he is right now. So let's just see. I think I can even see the marula tree and the termite mound that they were lying on earlier. This monkey orange is really not easy on the vehicles. Let's try to see if there's a gap through here. Ooh, I don't know if we're going to get through here, Vim. What's that? Monitor lizard. Went down. So there was apparently a big monitor on this log that's also disappeared. So it's all happening. Let's see if we... Be truthful, you're saying this is really nail-biting stuff. It is ridiculous. And it wouldn't be a bad idea if maybe somebody tried to get towards where the lions are, just to see what their reaction's going to be as we kind of get forward and go this way. So I don't know if Ali or Byron are close by enough to get to where the lions are. Maybe it's a good idea to put somebody there, just because we are moving with Hukumuri. We can't hear anything, and like I say, the lions are not far from this area, so it would be good just to see what their reaction is. There's Ali, actually. I can see Ali. So Ali's not far. Maybe Ali needs to just head a little bit further to the west. Oh, we're all in one. It's just chaos at the moment. I mean, more to the east, I think Ali needs to head. So she's kind of in the west at the moment. I don't even know where Hukumuri's gone. Can you see him? He's straight 12 o'clock VM. So VM can see him, which is what counts. As long as our cameraman can see him, that's really good. So there's the mound there where the lions were on. So Ali's in the right kind of... Is that the right mound? No, that's not the right one. More to my right. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for Taxon to go past. Good. There goes Hukumuri. So Ali's in the right spot. I just want to let Ali know. Yeah, Ali's straight kind of north from where we are. Should be about where the lions were lying, somewhere there. Now, this is just absolute chaos at the moment. Trying to get through all of this nonsense that is this black monkey orange and try and actually get to where these lions are. Might be worth actually Ali just taking over Hukumuri. We'll just get all three of us to see Hukumuri today. Why not? Seems like everybody's in one place, because it will be much easier for me to find these lions than it's going to be for Ali, because at least I know where they are. If you don't know where the lions are, it's going to be very difficult to find them because they're lying in such deep grass. There's Hukumuri there. Well, Ali's in the right place. She's just got to head a little bit north of us and she should be able to find them, Kirst. She's in the right area, that's for sure. So we're coming onto the old Hyena Road, so we're a little bit to the east of where the lions are. Right, good. Let's see if we can get one more view of Hukumuri, who should be coming out onto this road right now. There he is. Right there, so he's just doing his thing and taking it very easy and about to cross the road. And so while we kind of watch him move through the grasses and start going into another sort of thicker area, he's going to cross the road and be typical male leopard and carry on his patrol. Let's send you to Byron and see if he's had any luck with that other individual that he was tracking.
No, unfortunately no luck. Fergus and I have been quite frustrated. We're trying to find this other male, but don't know where he disappeared to. Oh well. But the bush is so thick here. Maybe he's just hiding. And like I said, I think because this leopard has now been slightly threatened by another leopard, he's going to be or try and hide even more than usual. But you never know, we might still bump into him. Maybe he sticks his head out somewhere, but I think he's disappeared. Maybe he decided, and again, this is assuming it is a he. I'm not sure, we didn't get a good view, just a few rosettes moving through the bush when we first saw it. Could be a female, but I don't know. The way that other male was acting, I think it was a male. Fergus also thinks he was a male, or it was a male. Soraya, male leopards generally start looking to mark and claim territory at about 4 or 5 years old. I've seen male leopards at that age trying to set up a territory. It does depend obviously on the size and how dominant they are. Maybe they are successful at that age. I've seen a male at about 4.5 years old, 5 years old, very aggressive and wanting to fight with just about every leopard that he came across. But I would say that's an average age for a leopard trying to set up a territory. And then obviously if they're a little bit older, 6-7 years old, the chances of setting up a territory and being more successful and dominant are a lot stronger. No, Fergus, I think that leopard gave us the slip. I think he's disappeared. I'm going to do a loop down on the southern boundary here quickly and just have a look. Now, it's exciting that Hukumuri male is so close to the lions. Let's go back to Tristan and find out if that leopard's managed to avoid them or if he's still moving in their direction.
Well, he's not avoided them yet. I mean, he's now moving up the Hyena Den Road straight to Philemon's, which is where the lions came from. So the difference is that he's going to know that the lions were here because he'll pick up their scent now and their tracks as soon as he hits Philemon's road, because that's where the kind of tracks were. But this guy just doesn't stop. He just walks and walks and walks and walks and walks. And it's why he's so difficult to find again. Once you find him once, it's fine. But, to find him in the afternoons is almost impossible because of the way that he walks around. You can see he just hasn't stopped this morning. He's taken Byron on a big walkabout. He's taken us on a big walkabout. And he's still going. He's not finished for the morning yet at all. So unlike the lions that all kind of went down and went to sleep, he's still kind of going and still moving. Franklin's gave him a bit of a fright. He probably thought there was another leopard around. But he is going to pick up the scent of those lions in the next 2 minutes because we're about to hit Philemon's and it'll be interesting to see which way he goes. The other interesting thing about this is he's done a massive loop. So he's gone from this side, which is where Byron had him, and he went around like that, around Treehouse, and then now he's come back to this side of the world. And you can see he's still scent marking, still spraying. I don't even think this guy has any urine left at this stage. He's used so much since we've been with him alone. And I would imagine Byron saw him scent marking extensively as well. Lots of popcorn smells in the air though. Right, so he's avoiding the lions completely now. He's kind of going the wrong way. The lions are just on my left-hand side, so where that fallen over tree is, that's where the lions are, off to the left of that fallen over tree, and he's now heading the opposite way to where we had the lions this morning. So let's see how he goes from here, but I don't know where this male is going. He's right in the center part of Djuma. You see he's stopped now. Let's see if hopefully this is him going to kind of just work out what's happening. He has this wild look all the time. It's like half the time he's scared, half the time he's kind of frenzy. He never seems as though he's in a dopey mood or a sleepy mood ever. It's always just big, wide eyes, moving, kind of analyzing everything that's going on around him. Now, interestingly enough, this is exactly where Tandy and the cub were for so many weeks is in this area, so it gives you an idea of just how deep he is inside of Djuma. Right, we need to go and catch up with him once more and see if we can keep going. Like I say, if Byron hasn't had any luck, he's welcome to come head this way. We can just try and do a double team effort, or film Byron filming the leopard. That should get many a heart racing. Is he back on the road again? Looks like it. Yes, he is. Gator, you're very correct. A leopard does look really big and bulky until you see lions in the same place, and you realize just how much bigger lions are than leopards. It's crazy. I mean, the sub-adult lions that we saw this morning are bigger than this leopard by a long way. Even the females, they're much bulkier already than what this male leopard is. And even if it was Tingana, those sub-adults have reached that size now where their head is even bigger than, a dominant leopard like Tingana was. So, it's a situation where he's gotten... now he stops right in front of these people, so I don't want to block everybody. I'm just going to go back slightly and see what he does. Don't go inside here, please. So if he goes to the right, it's going to be really tough for us to follow where he is and what he gets up to. Hopefully he just continues on the road. That would be ideal. But let's see. It seems that he's going to go on the road, which is good news. So let's try and get around this corner. It will at least be more space that we can kind of get off the roads and not block people's view, because where we are here is going to be blocking others' view of what's going on. So there we go. He's going to send Mark. I'm going to try and just get around Hukumuri and see if we can get his face. And while I do that, I'm going to send you back across to Ali, who I think has found those lions now. And let's see whether or not they're awake or if they're still sleeping.
Definitely not awake. Part of the reason why it took us a while to try and get here, they are in a very thick area. So it's, unless you drive really close to them or look for something yellowish, then it's quite tough to see them. But they have not woken up. In all of this commotion, cars coming, leopards moving around, leopards calling, they're definitely not bothered by anything. Even at one point I had suspected that perhaps they were on the trail of the buffalo again, as the buffalo seem to have moved further west, but nope, does not seem like that is the case. These guys are very happy sleeping down here. Now, I can't see all of them, but it is quite thick in this particular spot where we are, so I'm sure they're all somewhere around here, but the one that we were looking at initially, so the adults are here. So I don't think that they've left the younger ones and carried on with the hunt. Likely they're going to leave that for this afternoon. Maybe they'll leave the younger ones here as well, protected. There are a few termite mounds where they can climb up, and again, it's very thick vegetation, so if they do decide to carry on following those buffalo, then they can leave them here and they can go and do their business. Try and perhaps break down a buffalo. I heard that it was quite an exciting sighting this morning. So who knows, maybe they've just depleted all of their energy. It is getting a little bit warmer now, so this is normally the time of the day where lions decide to take a rest. Now, we're not too sure as to where they came from, but they could have done quite a loop around during the night, and it's perhaps the reason why they've decided that the best thing to do now is just sleep throughout the day. It's quite overcast, so they won't even have to move too much. Ranger Robert, if Hukumuri came closer to the lions, or had he bumped into them, definitely they would have smelled each other. Now, in between different predators, interactions tend to be very violent, or they almost like they either try to avoid each other, so maybe he's picked up the scent of the lion and decided to go a little bit further east to try and avoid them, because he does recognize them as a potential enemy. But also with the lionesses having their young ones here, and especially a very, very young cub, I reckon they also would have been quite aggressive towards Hukumuri, perhaps even chased him, and the easiest thing for him would have, they were quite far east from where we are now, and it doesn't seem like the lions didn't even notice. They are very used to the car noises, and I don't think they picked up on the fact that there was a male leopard around here, or perhaps even two. Or, as Byron says, perhaps a leopard and an unknown gender leopard. Seems like we lost the stream there for a little bit, so apologies for any inconveniences. We are still here, all of us hanging on to our cats as we can. And have a rest later on. Seems like Byron has now found a new friend, a more feathery one, so let's head over to him and find out if he was going to give the leopard's position away.
Well, we're watching what looks like a Wahlberg's eagle, bit of a silhouette of it because of the bright clouds at the moment. But I think it is a Wahlberg's eagle, flying very long tail. I can't really see any coloration or markings on it, but it does look as if it is a Wahlberg. So I just want to double check something. I don't think it's a tawny eagle. Just trying to see if there's anything just of them in flight. Tawny's a really big bird. And yeah, it definitely doesn't have as long a tail. Wahlberg's eagle's got a very long tail in flight. Yeah, that is a Wahlberg's eagle. I'm almost certain of it. That's nice. Always nice to see these birds of prey. We'll carry on searching. So we didn't have any luck with that other leopard. However, that's the way it goes. You know, Fergs and I are still a little hurt and upset because Tristan pushed us away from that beautiful leopard that we were following. I was enjoying it. Were you enjoying it, Fergs? We were yeah, it was such a wonderful sighting, and Tristan took it from us.
We were high-fiving.
Yeah. Oh well. As long as Tristan got to see the leopard too.
Such a bully, that Tristan.
I'd like to ask that all of you please help us make Tristan feel a little bad this morning. It really doesn't bother us. I'll tell you, it really doesn't bother us. But we want to make him feel bad, so we're gonna jump on it a little bit, especially at breakfast. As long as all of you got to see the leopard, that's the most important thing. Yeah, right. Let's go to, well, Ferg has called him hashtag leopard thief, Tristan. But I think let's just go across to the bully and see what he's doing.
Yes, Byron, I'm sorry. I offered you 5 times, if not more, to come and take this leopard from me and that I'll go look for the other one, and you insisted on looking for the other one, so you know what? I don't feel bad now because I asked, I radioed you, I messaged you on WhatsApp, I even said it live that you're welcome to come back and take over and I'll carry on with the other one, but you denied it and you didn't want it, so you and Ferg can stop your nonsense and you can just try and find that other leopard now, because you didn't want to have Hukumuri anyway. You guys got tired of doing some work, and so you decided that you'd leave us to do it all this morning instead. Now, in all honesty, I really didn't want to be with the leopard without Byron being with the leopard. That wasn't the plan at all. The plan was that we were supposed to have both leopards on camera, both at the same time. That was kind of what was supposed to go on. And I honestly thought Byron was with Hukumuri and that it would be much easier for him to follow Hukumuri than it would be for us to try and find the other guy, and we would have time to then try and find him, but it really hasn't worked out that way at all, and which is not how I wanted it to go in any way whatsoever. But I suppose at the end of the day, we kind of got ourselves into the situation. So many of us in the sort of section, and with the lions close by and the buffalo and leopards, well, it was bound to kind of bump into each other at some point. So I'm sorry, Byron. I'm sorry you feel that way. I wasn't trying to bully you or steal your leopard. You're welcome to come take him back from this thicket should you so want him. Now, I think we've even lost him. He was walking down towards this area, but I can't see where he's gone. I thought maybe he would pop out in front of us, but he seems to have either invaded us. So 477, you say if Byron snoozes, he loses. Well, there we go, Byron. The judges have spoken. You were snoozing, my friend. No, I feel, like I say, I don't like ever doing anything like that. We're supposed to be a team here, and at the end of the day, it's, you know, I wanted Byron to have a leopard more than anything, as well as Ali to get her cats. And so it would have been nice for everybody to have one at the same time. That would have been the ideal situation. So for us to have leopard, Byron to have leopard, Ali to have the lions, and all kind of being around each other would have been the most epic way to finish out our morning. But it just hasn't worked like that, and that's the way things go sometimes. X-Ranger, there was a game last night. It was the murder mystery game. And I didn't win last night. No, Ferg and I voted the wrong murderer, who turned out it was Ali was the murderer, and she was the murderer because she murdered the best Elvis impersonator. There he is there. Elvis impersonator in the whole of Las Vegas. And she murdered him because she was the singing coach, and he had an affair with her while she was still married, and then she didn't want to leave her wife because she was actually a boy in all of this, and Elvis was actually, you know, also a boy, and didn't want to leave his wife, and so they got into a situation where there was jealousy, and unfortunately Ali murdered Elvis, and so that was how it went. I was Kirsty, I was a scuba diver / assassin, and I would have been falsely accused, but I wasn't assassinating anybody at the time. I was just doing my scuba diving holiday, and I was in Las Vegas for holiday away from the water, just to go and enjoy the casino and, you know, have a few drinks and watch Elvis play, and somebody interrupted my fun by killing Elvis. Now, Wiem was probably the highlight of the entire evening, as we now find Hukumuri still sitting and grooming himself. It feels like a good time to talk about Wiem. I feel like Wiem must have won Best Character Award. What do you think, Kirsty? I think so. So Wiem was... I also thought Wiem was the murderer at one point, but Wiem was a... What should we call him, Kirsty? A corrupt priest. That was what Wiem was, and he certainly fulfilled the role very well and did it with incredible enthusiasm, and I was very chuffed with you, Wiem. You did a sterling effort. You should have considered an acting career. A great backstory as well, you're right, Kirsty. And it was very fun. We had all kinds of entertaining things. Byron was a gladiator, of course, with biceps like that. You wouldn't expect him to be anything else other than a gladiator. In fact, he made up he was a gladiator. What the real thing was that he was an entertainer that had been fired by the casino. And so, well, we thought maybe he was a stripper, but apparently he said no, he was a gladiator, whatever that means. And then we had all kinds of things. We had escorts, we had dancers, we had the casino owner, which was Senzo, who was also very good in his role and dodgy as anything. He was really probably the dodgiest casino owner ever. Lots of ongoings behind the scenes. And then who else was there? What was Ferg? Ferg was the bad boy journalist who was apparently synonymous with getting himself into trouble as well. So there was a good mix of characters, and it was all very entertaining. Right, now, while I sit and enjoy Hukumuri through about 4 billion Tamburtis, let's send you across to the entertainer, Byron, and let's see how he found his evening to be.
Well, last night was a lot of fun. It's a scimitar that we saw. I just wanted to show you, and obviously, as you came to us, it flew off. A beautiful scimitar bull. Well, maybe it's a good thing it didn't stick around. If it did, maybe Tristan would have liked to have come and taken the sighting from us. We're going to mock him for ages with this one. Last night was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Something different within camp. You know, there's a wonderful, I think, community here at Safari Live and within the camp. And it is important to have a bit of fun while we are here. Rebecca did a great job with our murder mystery. I guessed right. I knew it was Ali. She just had that look in her eye.
You guys might have
Our South American assassin, Ali. That's it. But no, it was a lot of fun. Tristan wasn't a very convincing scuba diver assassin. Oh dear. I think we're getting close. I wonder where these leopards are. I think they're close by with the lions. I'm not sure, because they were in Philemon's Dip. We've just come through Philemon's Dip. I'm not sure if they're moving up around here, so maybe we can steal it back. No, I'm just joking. I'm not like that. But it's starting to warm up now a little bit. I wonder if this is going to burn off some of the cloud cover. However, the weather prediction does say it may still stay overcast and cloudy right up until Tuesday. So maybe we're still in store for a lot more rain, which is not a bad thing. It's good for this time of year. Maybe carry us through the winter. Alright, well, I'm going to go and check the clearings quickly and just see if there's anything interesting around there. Maybe an Ellie bull or two feeding on some marulas. But let's go across to the assassin and find out how the lions are doing.
Well, with that reputation and looking at the lions here, people could actually think that I've murdered them, Byron, so let's not get too much into that. Luckily, we can see them breathing, so we all know that I would be incapable of ever doing anything to any living creature. And in my defense, I didn't choose to be the murderer or the singing coach because, first of all, I cannot sing, so that was already irony number one. Number two, I don't think I can forgive Rebecca for making me the murderer. That was quite unreal. But I must say, I think Kirsten and I did a very good job. As a murderer, no, that's horrible. Chris is saying that I was very convincing as a murderer, but she was almost like my partner in crime. She was the gun nut, apparently, according to the game. So I don't think anyone actually got a good part in that whole ordeal. It was a very interesting night, though, and some people did very well. And Tristan was a very sneaky character, as he was the undercover assassin pretending to be Scuba Steve. So I'm just going to leave that hanging in there. I don't know what was going on. It was, though, a very interesting night, and I think it's spiked up our investigating skills. As for today, this morning, there have been so many things that have been happening around, and I'm not too sure still if we can confirm that it was Djuma, the other male leopard, or if it was another one. It's definitely an unusual morning in terms of leopards. Lions, as you can see, they went for the hunt, not too bothered, and this has been it. This is where they're staying, probably for the rest of the day. So the buffalo herd didn't go that far away from where we are, and they are actually close to Treehouse Dam, so if they get thirsty, I wouldn't be surprised if they make their way down there during the day, and perhaps during the afternoon the lions will decide to make their way down there. As to where the leopards might be this afternoon, I'm not entirely sure. As we've seen this morning, Hukumuri likes to walk and he likes to mission, so who knows, maybe Tristan will be able to find him this afternoon, because obviously Byron and I are not allowed. Seems like Tristan is still with Hukumuri, so hopefully he'll keep tabs on him for this afternoon.
I feel like I'm being picked on here heavily, and I also, hang on for a second, we need to just clarify something, Byron, that you say that I wasn't very convincing, other than the fact that I was the only person that was an assassin with a gun on me, and you had no idea I was a suspect. I wasn't even put in the suspect pool from the very beginning. I was completely cleared of all charges right from the word go. So I feel like I was convincing enough to fool Byron, which means that that's all I needed to do. And as of these two saying that I'm going to steal their leopards, well, that's how a leopard thief works, is you've got to be silent in the night. I just watched Byron drive right past me and he didn't even see me. So we know that Byron struggles with spotting things, and I thought it was just spotted coats of a leopard, but it seems as though he can't even spot me in jigger as well. So it's not gone well for Byron in the last 24 hours. He missed a leopard yesterday morning, and now he's missed an opportunity to steal our leopard from us that we stole from him, which would have been quite funny and quite ironic at the end of the day as well. But you can see Hukumuri has positioned himself even deeper into the Tamboti thicket. It's very difficult to see him. He's grooming himself now, so I think he's setting up to have a nap for the day, and I'm pretty sure this is where he's going to rest. Now, his day is not over because we don't know where that other male leopard is. The lions are less than 500 meters away from where we are, and so it promises to be a pretty epic afternoon out here. The buffalo are also still milling around. I saw them on Rebecca's and heard them on Rebecca's just now. So lots happening all over the place, and certainly a good reason for all of you to come back this afternoon and see how this saga plays out over the course of a Friday. Right, but we are going to start heading back home now. It's been an action-packed morning. We are going to try and go and get some breakfast and solve who is actually the leopard thief and who is not. And so while we do that, we'll have to say goodbye to all of you, which the NFC has been an